Same story as I said about the O'Reilly house a few months ago. These developers and city councils are out of control. They're destroying our history, and that's just putting it straight. And we're just standing by and letting them do it. Now, as I said with the O'Reilly house, I mentioned a few months ago about the O'Reilly house, and still nothing's been done about this. And so in Limerick now, we have a Georgian house, an old Georgian house that's nearly, God knows how, nearly, I say would nearly be 200 years old. It was abandoned, I will admit it was abandoned for a long, long time. But it's still a part of the history of Limerick, and it's there a long time, and again, it was doing no harm to anybody. But the developers, again, they have some kind of anti-Irish rhetoric, these developers, that they just can't stand anything to do with Irish history. They just want to demolish it. It's like the Peanut Times all over again. And again, Limerick City Council's a lot to explain themselves here for. Because it's not negotiable. I'm sure to God, if I went down the road, if I went onto that road, I'm sure down the road, probably if I went down the road an inch down the road, there'd probably be a spot there with nothing there, and they wouldn't buy that. Again, it's a shame. So this Twitter user, just to show his profile, make sure you do check him out. He took a good photo showing it. And he did say, I did follow it up and looked into it. So it was the same with the O'Reilly house. They went very early in the morning, so nobody could stop them. Nobody could put up any resistance. Again, it's very sneaky. We all know it's the developers. At least as far as I know, I looked into it. As far as I know, they were given permission by Limerick County Council, Limerick City Council, to demolish it. They were given the permission. The O'Reilly house, they wouldn't give them the. I don't know. I doubted that they went in a hutch. I say Dublin City Council knew something, but they won't let on. But with Limerick, as far as I'm aware, they did say it would be demolished, and it was acknowledged in the local Limerick paper, it's going to be demolished. But again, it's very sneaky. Again, they didn't want anybody to assist, because again, if they were to say at around 1 o'clock on the day, there'd be people around the area who would, quite rightly, stand in front of the house and stop the bulldozers from going at it. And cause a ruckus. But we all know when Garda Síochána will come along and beat them with batons. People who peacefully protest. But again, so this would before it was derelict. So this is before it was abandoned. It was very nice house, very nice brick and everything. So this is what the thing that planned to build here. And you might be like, that's not apartments. They're going to build a few apartments and things like that there. Well, not necessarily, because they won't be going to you and I, the only working class people, the people who work day in, day out to make ends meet. People who are hard workers, who want to buy our first homes, young people. It won't go to them. It'd be a fortune. They literally had to buy your arm and leg. You literally take off your arm and leg to sell them on the black market to pay for them. To pay you wet. To make the bills meet. And again, Limerick City Council has a lot to answer for. Because it was doing no harm, and I'm sure to God, I'm sure people would agree with me, it was doing no harm, it was derelict. They could have done it up, they could have made it a nice museum, if they wanted to, again, they could have made it a nice museum. But again, it's just, again, developers, as soon as they say, whatever they say seems to go, it doesn't matter what the local authorities think. They get a few checks in the mail, and sure, look, they won't say much else. We knew that about the O'Reilly house, I've been talking about it, I never shut myself up about it. I keep denying Dublin City Council, I'm the biggest burden on them. Because literally every day, every week, I'm at them. And nothing, because I want justice for the O'Reilly. He did sacrifice his life. He died in 1916 for us. The least we could do is protect his house, and we failed that. And again, they're talking about Tom Clark, and we all, I hate to say it, but again, I'd say they're going to go in at around 6:30 in the morning and knock it down, probably burn it down. That's how much these developers hate our country and hate our way of life. They only care about profit, and that's all they care about. And we've seen it today, going at 6:55 in the morning. Like, what would you be doing at that time in the morning? And again, this is because they don't want people standing there. I mean, if I was living in that area, because again, looking at all the responses online, there wasn't one person, as far as I see, apart from the developers who probably were like NGOs and getting NGOs involved and everything like that, saying we want to demolish this, it's going to be the benefit of the community. But as far as I know, even county councillors have seen, there's one Limerick County Councillor, she's been in controversy over the last few months for protests, religious protests outside churches when the churches were closed. Whatever you disagree with on that, you can agree she was right in saying that it shouldn't have been demolished, and it's a shame. It's a disgrace. I do agree with her on that. that it was a disgrace. It shouldn't have been allowed. But again, there's questions need to be asked by Limerick City Council, and by the government in general, because why is the developers going around knocking places left, right, and centre, with historical meaning, and again, people might say, they've been put to better use. The house has been put to better use. It's not the point, because if we let them off, I keep saying it. If we let them off, they were allowed off with the O'Reilly house. Now they're going away. Now they're doing this with this house, and they're talking about Tom Clark's house, Tom Clark's home house, and they're talking about bulldozing that to the ground and setting on fire, Bobby. What next? Knocking down half of Dublin City, the GPO, anything that means something to Irish history. That's literally their next move, just because they feel like they want to build some kind of fucking communist blocks in front of where the GPO stands. I wouldn't put it past them, and then sell it at a wages price for people to to buy. Like, literally have to sell your whole soul to buy one of these apartments. Like, I could see it coming. They knock down the GPO for that. Because that's what they think of history. They don't think of it. They think of the profit. That's all they care about, these developers. And it is a shame, and it really is a shame that we've come to this. Because again, years ago, I say one thing about years ago, people would have not tolerated this disrespect to the city's history, the town's history, because people fought very valiantly and very strongly to defend, this country, defend its history and defend its fate. And people years ago wouldn't have laid down and said nothing about it. Especially with the O'Reilly house, I very much doubted anybody would have took that pill and swallowed it. Years ago, I said they would have went into uproar. I said the whole country would have went into uproar about it, because it's a shame. It really is a shame with the country we're living in at the moment. But yeah, that's enough of my rambling. But yeah, just to say, hopefully, maybe they might, hopefully maybe they might. I'd say they have a pipe boned and everything now, the bricks and everything. Hopefully maybe they might do something nice there, nice park or something. Maybe a few bricks from the house, maybe a bit of a museum outside. But I highly doubt it. Again, they just want to go ahead with them absolute crazy plans. And again, I wouldn't mind. They'd probably go a mile down the road. There's probably a big, wide open field that nobody's using, and they won't build it there just because logic. Great country.